It's so hard. It's so hard, extremely difficult to get people to like you. And I don't know. It, it's such it's so demanding. It's kind of a terrible experience for the person doing it. People don't get that. To make such a pleasant experience, I feel like a person's got to go through a very terrible experience. And I'm not saying it's all like that, but it's just, I don't know. It seems like to really get anywhere, you have to go through something painful unless you're like really passionate. That's the only way. So, anybody that's really passionate about doing something and it appeals to a lot of people, you are a very special person because if you really like what you're doing and you can just sit there and just do it over and over and you just love doing it, you know, like you almost like the suffering, you like the bad parts, you like that bad part of the grind because it's true, like if you want to get things done, it's like a touring band or something. If you want to do that stuff, it's just like it takes so much work to do all that, and then you have to deal with all the different stuff that goes along with it. So just like being in a band, it doesn't really, it's not as easy as it looks. It's not just being a band isn't just being in a band. Oh yeah, look, oh whoa, look at him, he's so famous. Oh whoa. I don't know though. It just I don't know. It kind of depends on how good you are too. So for me, I take a look at myself and I'm just like, yeah, I almost feel like if it doesn't happen for you right away, maybe it's just never gonna happen. There's nothing that says, hey, you're gonna wake up one day rich and everything that you ever wanted satisfied and stuff. And so for me, I go through my own problems and I do everything myself. I'm not working with anybody. And I guess I just like working alone and I don't like giving anybody credit for the things I do. I feel like but I feel like without me, there is there is no there is nothing, But I also feel like I don't know. Am I really gonna sit here and think so highly of myself? There's just so many comedians out there, dude, and there's so many people that try to be funny in their own way. Maybe they don't even consider themselves a comedian, but a lot of people out there, they do, different stuff, especially on the internet. There's like variations of so many different things. And for me, it's like, I've made cartoons, I've made funny songs, I've done a lot of different types of videos. And I get it, if the video that you want to make, here's the video that you want to make. You want to make something with a punchline every second. There's got to be a constant like punchline, and punchline's got to be good. Like this has got to be very punchy, and it's got to be very performed really well. And you probably need some images, some reference images, because that helps. Some of that stuff, and that's probably the way you want to do it. That's kind of a template. Um, that's one of the templates, and so me basically I just sit here and talk and just try to come up with stuff funny, but it's just freestyling it. So it's really hard to just stay interesting and keep people watching you because as soon as they get that drop off point, they're gone. They don't care. No one really cares. About your dream. No one really no one really cares about your struggle. No one cares about any of the stuff that you have to do. Nothing. And I get it. If you get in a really good routine and you just you know I don't know, make really good videos, maybe a lot of people will watch them. But I don't know, it's just crazy how difficult it is to get people to laugh and be satisfied every single second you know and like I said, I've done so much different stuff, and I can do some pretty bizarre weird stuff. I can do some kind of shock humor stuff, awkward stuff. I can do pretty much all the different stuff. But I've just been doing all this for so long that it's just like, well, you know, you get a little bit, you get a little bit burnt out and stuff, and you want to do something different. And for me to make a song seems so fake most of the time. If I want to make some music or make an animation, it's like, why do I have to make music or make an animation? I'll just sit here and talk. Because if you talk freely like this, it's so different. I don't think people get that. Whenever you do like a cartoon or like a TV show template, you're not really being yourself, and you're just putting on all this show. And that's the funny part is, some of those actors, they're not even really people that probably talk that much. They probably don't even, are like, are they gonna sit here and have like such unique thoughts that people are gonna be interested? And that's because that's what you want to do, especially if you're making a podcast or whatever. And I was never really trying to make a podcast before. I was just like throw myself on camera and try to make some funny stuff. And I've done it so much. Um, but you got to question yourself eventually, and everyone, I think if you do it long enough, you're not only going to question yourself, but you're going to pretty much decide what the hell you want to do. If you want to keep going, and just realizing that, hey, if you do things like this, you might not end up anywhere. So that's kind of the hard part about it. It's like, it's not that I can't make certain stuff. I can't sit here and like, it's just hard to get yourself to do it because you want to do what you want to do. There's a bunch of conflicts with that stuff. It's like, you're an artist, you're comfortable doing this, and you know, like for me to sit here and make a cartoon right now, it'd almost be forced, but I've made cartoons before where it was fun, I loved it, and I made some funny stuff. It was good. Did it reach the viral proportions? No, but it could have. It's still, some of that stuff still could. People started recognizing it more, but you know, part of that stuff is, and that's what I'm saying. Part of that stuff is just, there's just so much that goes into something like that, that it's just like, I don't know. Some those independent cartoons I've watched, it's just the way it's drawn, and just, I don't know, man. Just someone just took the appropriate time. And I'm just such a gamer too. And being a gamer doesn't mean you're a streamer. Being a gamer does not make you a good streamer. Being a good person that's good at video games doesn't really mean that anybody in the gaming community is going to care about you. There's a lot of good players out there too, you know? And I feel like that's another thing when it comes to comedy too. It's like, just because you're a funny person doesn't mean you're going to get famous. Do you know what I mean? Which is kind of funny. That's kind of ironic, isn't it? To put yourself in that situation, because it's like, well, you're not funny unless you, because you're famous, because that's what people are under the impression. That's what everybody is kind of dialed in on, is you don't have comedic value unless you're famous. Like, that's the whole idea. Like, me sitting here, I feel bullied to try to succeed, because it's just like, dude, you're not funny, you're not good unless you're popular. It's like, it's kind of like a high school clique thing. And I just think that, depending on who you are and the people, your group of friends, or the people, you could be a funny person to them, and to people on the larger scale, you could be outright lame. But then you think about that, all of the people that are like comedy fans online, there's a lot of comedy fans online, but how many people really care that much? Like, really, like me, like, I don't really get much support from anyone. No one really wants to pay me money, you know? And it's probably the way that I'm marketing my stuff to people, and the way it feels. And I don't know, there's probably like there's like almost a gap there between me and the people that watch my stuff. And for me, it's like, it's so hard to get people to watch anyways. So to sit here and talk to everybody and all of this, I don't know. It's like, it seems like, you know, something that kind of happens more on a live stream, which I guess I don't really want to talk about all this stuff right now. It's just so much to unpack, like talking to people on a live stream can be I feel like you can form a more realistic bond with someone, but then, you have to deal with all the crazy people and people that just want to make fun of you and kind of trick you and stuff because it's funny to them or whatever. Um, so that's why that's what makes me not really want to talk to people online is just all of the trickery and all of the kind of people that you don't really know who they are or kind of why are they here on your page? What do they find so interesting? It's kind of confusing sometimes, and I don't really want to think I'm better than anyone, or I'm just using people to watch my videos, but it kind of turns in it's kind of a problem, just like me working with other people and doing the thing that I should do. And it's kind of the problem, Like if you could just like turn something on in your brain and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna make a viral video and it's gonna be so good, you know. So many people are gonna like it and respect it. But I don't think I think some of those people out there they tap into certain fan bases, and those fan bases probably don't want to pay you money. So they're just cheap people who just they just don't want to support you. And I think that typical entertainment, especially old school entertainment, you don't typically just pay the person directly. So I don't know. Maybe there's something with that, or just because you have a viral video doesn't mean you get all the benefits and stuff. Like for me personally, it's almost like, maybe you just have to build a reputation and just looking for like instant respect, Like you're popping open some instant mashed potatoes or something, like just popping in a TV dinner. TV dinner fans, that's kind of what it's like. It's like I don't know, man. This is not this doesn't really seem like it's working out that great, And and I've been doing this for a long time, and recently in the past year I've had success with doing food videos and stuff, which is pretty challenging because, eating a lot of that food is not good for you. And, for me personally, I had a pretty good diet, um, going for myself, pretty good routine before all of this kind of went down. But I kind of see it in a professional manner, like, hey, I can it's almost like an actor taking on a role, you have to take the bad with the good. Because an actor taking on a role, there like I said, there is like some suffering and some pain that you kind of have to go through in order to get what you need to get done for other people, because just because you're a funny person doesn't mean that you can just appeal to so many people instantly. That's why it's so hard to master it, you know what I mean? And it's really not all about your looks, or some people think that. I think that can be a contributing factor, but you know there's just a lot of different stuff that goes into it. And really it's just a matter of getting big laughs. And you know when you do it for so long, it's almost just like I don't even know I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like I'm supposed to be a comedian, and then it almost feels like I'm in college trying to figure out which subject I want to major in at that point. Because it's just like, well, okay, oh, maybe you just tried it out and maybe it's not working out and you want to go do different stuff. And it's like, well, I don't know. I'm still doing it, and so I think that's the challenge is you got to find a way to make it marketable and appealing to people, and just be able to make it so good that it's just ridiculously good that it's going to make you money, And it's all cool to sit here and joke around and stuff, and I get value out of that, but I can do that all day all the time. I want to try to succeed more than that, so um, but just because you want something to happen for yourself doesn't mean it's gonna happen. Like I just unlocked memberships on my channel and stuff, and no one's joined, no one became a member of the channel, and it's just like it's just such a lack of support. And so I'm over here, and you could do different things with the memberships. You can make members only videos and stuff, and I could do that. But I just feel like it's almost a big joke on me, that I even had people that like my stuff and subscribed, and now no one wants to support me. It's like, okay, well, whatever. I guess I'm just not worthy of it, or no one wants to spend money. They're just cheap. And so I don't know. That's just the way it is. Um, and again, maybe it is just because there's a gap there, you know, or people just don't know about it. I don't know. It's just kind of, it's really hard. It's really hard, when you feel like things are going so good but so bad at the same time, and you just don't know. You just don't know where you're gonna end up any day. And part of it's just because I want to make the stuff that I want to make, and that's kind of the problem and the solution. Because it's fun for me, it's great for me, but like I said, so this is just kind of the struggle that I've been in for a long time. It's nothing new. It's just, a lot of people don't understand what the hell's going on. Um and uh and like I said, I wish I could just sit here and just, oh, look, he's so funny. Ha ha ha. It's so great. And wow, everyone likes you now. Wow, you're making a bunch of money. Wow, you're like a timeless star or something or whatever, And so, it almost gets to a point where it's like, well, eventually you just kind of just keep going. And I don't know, it's like you probably need to do something different or something, but it's just hard to force myself to do things I don't want to do, and I think it's the same for everyone. So, I almost think that if you really want to be a good actor, you probably need to force yourself. You probably need to be like, okay, look, this is work. I need to go work. I need to figure out what I need to do for other people instead of sitting here and because like I make stuff that I think's funny all the time, but maybe other people don't think it's as funny. And you know, and then and then you have the whole thing of just being outright offensive. And you know I don't know, like some of that stuff kind of ruins people's days or whatever. And it's not you, it's them. You ruin their time or whatever. And and then you're just being this, it's almost like comedy to an extent can just if you try to do it, you might just end up making yourself look bad or embarrassing yourself. Or you go in and you do it, and it's almost like you're almost it's almost like you're giving some people a bad time when you're trying to give them a good time, just because of the stuff you're doing, and if they don't like you and stuff. And so um so I don't know, it's just that give and take. It's like, you're having a bad time, they're having a good time. And it's just like I don't even know, because it's like, well, dude, you probably well, one thing is like, I think a lot of the popular comedians are drug addicts. So me, I mean, it's not like I don't really, I don't do any drugs, man. I mean, I just don't. I just don't do anything really. I don't do any of that. I'm just a normal person, I guess. But there's more to my story than that. Um, but yeah, I feel like I should just quit all the time. And the reason why I keep going is because obviously there's something I think, is there, either, I'm doing it for myself, or I'm just doing it because I think that eventually it's going to work out for me. But, as you get older, like me, once you do it so much and you get older, you just think about a lot of this stuff. And it almost seems fake in a way. Like, I don't know. If you're trying to do comedy and you think you're a comedian, it almost seems like maybe you're just trying to force it to make money, and it doesn't really work. Like I said, it doesn't really work out that well all the time. But there's a lot of comedians out there and stuff, and you know, I just think it's just like it's got to be like natural and all of this, and it's just you get a little bit in over your head. That's what happens. And once you've been through it so many times, and you've tried so hard, and you start realizing that, hey, I need to try something else or something, I need to think differently. Maybe I don't need to work with anybody else, but I need to be able to utilize what I'm doing here. And it's just you got to get into it. It's kind of like when an artist does something that's really good and they were connecting to something, and a lot of people enjoyed it, and it was just this thing that happened to be, popular, but they probably could have done a lot of different other stuff before that, and still after, and so it's like if you keep going, you can get lucky too, and that's another thing, is it's almost like getting a lottery ticket or something. So, there's just a lot of stuff that goes into it, and for me, I want to be able to just do it, but maybe I'm in it for the wrong reasons. I think that's another thing that you got to realize is maybe you're in this to have fun and laugh, and because you like jokes and all that, but then you look at the other side and it's like, well, if you really want to succeed, you got to sit here and write stuff all day, man. I don't think people realize that. I don't think a lot of people, you might watch one video of something and the person might have a lot of jokes, and you just don't get that that person was writing forever. And as far as the other people, so the people that just sit here and blog and make videos, and it's probably not scripted. It's still kind of scripted if you think about it, because some of those people had to write stuff with what they're thinking about. So even though they didn't write it down on paper, they still conceptualize stuff, and they still write stuff in a sense. You still have to offer people ideas and stuff. And sometimes it's not in the physical writing, it's in the way that you appear, the energy you're giving off. That's kind of writing in itself. Which a lot of people, I think it's just really like there's just so much stuff that goes into it. It's like, you know, for me to sit here today, I'm just kind of talking and stuff. I was gonna try to be like funny and put on this big thing, but I figured I'd just talk about this for a second because it's something that I continuously experience, and you know, it's like every day, every time I post a video, I'm just like, well, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if anyone's gonna like this. I don't, you know, and so I think that for me personally, I think it's just get to work. Um, but I've tried to, I've done a lot of stuff. So and I've tried to do the work routine where I'm just writing and writing and writing and just trying to extract like really good stuff. So stuff that's going to be so funny it's going to go viral. And I've done that. And there's a lot of techniques cuz I can sit here and act all day and just do impressions and characters and different cartoons, and that's kind of a toss up because you never, it's like you can make something look good and sound good, but other people might just be like blah. So I don't know. I don't, there's just so many ways to do it. Like sometimes you do it seriously and it's more technical and you just sit here and write stuff and try to figure out what's funny. And then sometimes you just think of something funny and you're just like, what? I'm feeling this. So I guess the best thing you could try to strive for is to really try to feel it. Really feel it and really feel like, it's a good idea, and connect stuff and have a different kind of experience. That's what you and I think that's kind of part of the thing a lot of people lack is trying to have a good experience and a good time with all of the difficult stuff, because you just really got to love it, and it doesn't always work out like that. Like sometimes the person only likes to act, and or sometimes and they're able to do other people's lines and it can work, but then sometimes people just want to act to make money. They don't they just want to be a star. They just want to they don't really care about comedy, really. They don't really care about all that other stuff, because there are some stuff that goes into it, that it goes a little bit deeper, that I think it takes kind of a special touch to be able to do it like that. And I just think so many people lack that. And there's just so many people on the internet. So it kind of sucks to sit here and be like, I'm just another face and I'm trying to bait people in or whatever. And I don't really feel like I'm baiting people in, but it just like there's so many sides to it. Like sometimes I make stuff and it's like, well, I don't want to be come off as weird, I don't want to make like I don't want to make like a sexual video, because some people like I don't want to make people uncomfortable, but I don't want to be too offensive or rude and misbehave and kind of just be a belligerent just, you know, person and, so, it's like I'm trying to be what people want me to be, but then again, it seems like it's easier just to go down the exploit route, and I know a lot of people do that, and a lot of people do anything they can to make it work, really. So it's just a matter of trying to be comfortable and trying to connect to something and really making something you know that you really like. But there's just so much confliction, and a lot of the time I feel like I'm just like just do it, just do the thing you need to do to make these people happy. But I guess in all reality, um, I wish I would have been doing this longer. If I was doing this all my life, I would probably be somewhere by now, but my life just didn't work out like that. So I've been trying to do like professional comedy for a while, like probably 4 or 5 years or something, but even that amount of time isn't that long compared to some of the guys out there. Um, and some of them, most of them don't succeed as much as like you always look at the person who's most successful, the biggest star, but it's like that man, there's just so much stuff that leads up to that, you know. And I would say like even if you had like 20 years experience, that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be a big star with a mansion and all this. So I don't know, man. I'm out of here.